Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Cosmic Origins. We have some breaking events going on right now. XRP is officially breaking its all time high price of around $3.33. Popular conception is all-time high is like 380. That's kind of generally what you see, but that's actually, I guess, because of exchange kind of order book issues. And so the real all-time high kind of across the exchanges on average is around $3.30 something cents. And it seems like we have officially broke that all-time high. We're sitting at $3.38 right now, which is just absolutely nuts. So congratulations to everybody who has been in XRP for any amount of time, even if you're just getting in, but especially to those that have been in it for years and years. For me, it's been since early 2020. So 5 years plus now, which is crazy that this has been over a half decade of my life. And I know many of you guys got in before that. So congrats to everybody who's had the patience and the vision and the faith to stick it out. And we're just getting started, you guys. The whole market is up right now. Bitcoin not up very much. XRP is the largest gainer, I think, in the top 20 at least, if not like the top 50. Everything else in the market's up like 1-2% or so. XRP's up 11.4% on the day, up 62% in the last 90 days, up 54% in the last 30 days, and 35% in the last week. So crazy stuff. We do have some other stories I'm going to share and talk about here, and then kind of just want to do open Q&A. And I also want to talk about meme coins. And in particular, I want to talk about a project called Sigma, which maybe some of you guys know of. It is now my top meme project for the XRPL. So I'm going to tell you why. And I just got off the Sigma X space over there to shout out anybody who may be watching that came over from the X space. What's up, Journey to Truth? Yo. What's up, Joel? Flare pumping too. Yeah, you're right. I saw that. It was up quite a bit. Let's see what Flare's at. In general, the entire XRP XLM ecosystem is up quite a bit. Yeah, so Flare's up 18% on the day. Number 63 in the top ranking cryptos, Flare is 7 days up 28%. So yeah, good stuff. XRP, ZBCN, there you go, bro. I don't hold any ZBCN, but congrats on the pumps for that one. What's up, Kaz? Good to see you from New Zealand. So, yeah, let's see. I want to share this out real quick. And if you guys feel called to share this on whatever socials that are convenient for you, I'm just going to share this out on my Telegram group, post it in a few different chats, and then we'll jump into some of the other stories here. Also, happy 7/17. It is the 17th of July, which is the calendar emoji. If you type in calendar, it's always July 17th. So big day. Very synchronistic for this to happen. And then there's something else that the White House posted that if you haven't seen it yet is pretty awesome and very synchronistic for what we're going through today. So give me just a sec and I'm going to share this link out. Put it in all the homies chats. Boom, boom, boom. All right. There we go. Okay. Wow. So yeah, we're now breaking all-time high. If you missed that, if you're just joining in, XRP has, in terms of the average all-time high price across exchanges, that's around $3.30 something cents, depending on the exchange. And it's generally like low 330s. So we've officially broken past that, which means now we are in, we're in price discovery essentially, which is somewhere XRP has never been since 2018, you guys. That was the last time XRP hit an all-time high price. And if you're not familiar with how that played out, basically in 2017 for most of the year, and remember, this was Trump's first year in office, that XRP was literally the best performing asset on the planet. It went from half a penny, less than half a penny in 2017 throughout most of the year. And then in the last 2 weeks of 2017, going into the first week of 2018, it did massive price appreciation. Most of what it did was in that 2 week period. And it went to $3.80 from the below half a penny that it was at in the months prior. So crazy, crazy stuff. I don't remember the percentage. I think it was like 130,000% maybe. Don't quote me on that, but if you know, let me know in the comments. But yeah, now we're looking at new price discovery for the first time since 2018. So that means there's no future resistance, because the way that these markets work is, places where in the past history of the chart that are, places that had struggled before, those tend to be future resistance points. But now we don't have that anymore. We truly have on and upwards. So, nobody knows for sure, obviously, where the markets are going to go, but we're also moving out of the speculative market and into the utility driven market. And this has been the thing that we have been anticipating for so long, and to explain that a little more, pretty much every market out there that we've ever known has been a speculative driven market, whether it's real estate or stocks or gold, whatever it is, even bonds. It's all speculative, meaning people are investing speculatively based on what they think the market will do. So people invested in Apple or Microsoft or Google or Tesla because they think, oh, these companies are going to do well, so I'm going to speculate that that stock's going to go up, and hence, people invested. But what we've never seen, to my knowledge, in any asset class on the planet, and crypto being, from what I've heard, the first new asset class in 400 years, um, this is the first one where you actually will have utility as a technology driving the price up, directly related to its use case, instead of just investing based on speculation. And that's because of this whole cross-border payments, in particular, and payments in general, and also bridging into like DeFi, smart contracts, all these other technologies that are a new use case where, when you have a stock, it's just a share in that company. It's just a representation of your ownership in that company. And in terms of, self custody, you can't even self custody it yet. That's something that's going to be coming next month that we'll talk about too. Is we're going to have tokenized stocks on the XRP ledger because of Sologenic and the XRPL and Corium. They're going to be tokenizing stocks, and we're going to get into that. But that means so many new doors are going to open for us. But again, this is the first time we're having utility. So what that means is that the price of XRP and also these other payments based ISO associated cryptos like XLM, of course, the ones we talk about, Solo, Corium, Stronghold, but also, HBAR, Algorand, IOTA, a lot of these other ISO 20022 compatible cryptos. These are payments based. They call it fintech or financial technology. So most of them are for liquidity, providing liquidity to certain markets. And so what that means is that the price of these assets has to be super high in order for it to facilitate that liquidity. Because if you're moving millions or billions or trillions or more in global payments around the planet, you have to be able to jump in and out of these markets using these as bridge assets. And that's what particularly XRP and XLM and their kind of subsidiaries are designed to do, is provide massive amounts of liquidity on a global level. And so those market caps, basically as bridge assets, these are connecting all forms of value. And that's where you hear with XRP, all the money. What that means is that all the money in the world will be represented on the blockchain. There could be different parts of different markets on different blockchains, but what that means is that that value is going to be inherently represented in the market cap of these blockchains, because they're going to be essentially providing the liquidity and the bridge for all of these different markets, whether it's stocks or gold or debt or real estate, so many different points out there that it's going to be connecting. And so the market cap has got to be really high, particularly for XRP to move potentially trillions of dollars annually, or more, potentially quadrillions if we're talking about debt and everything else out there. The market cap has to be so high that much money can move in and out of it without causing the market to have volatility. And it reminds me of something that Mr. Poole, I believe, had said, which is price before law, right? Because in order for these guys to use these liquidity tools, the price of it has to be high enough that there is that deep enough liquidity. And it's kind of like a chicken or the egg. Like, will the adoption of it drive the price up, or will the price drive the adoption of it? And I think you could look at it either way, but the whole price before law thing is something that I think Mr. Poole has said that seems to be coming into play now. We have the Genius Act that is going to be voted on, I believe, tonight, this evening, by the House. So let me share that real quick, and then we'll get into some of these other stories here. All right. So first off, to preface this, if you haven't seen this, the White House posted this meme today. And the White House has obviously been kind of run by people who really understand meme culture and who know how to connect with the people and comedy. And that's been hilarious to see. And so we got this meme today that says, "Point of view, you just stepped into day 179 of the Trump golden age." And I don't have audio enabled right now, but they're playing the song with the lyrics "Make it rain, I make it rain" in the background, and obviously a golden eagle, or sorry, a bald eagle dropping, uh, you know, Federal Reserve notes, spreading them all over the place, making the money rain. And again, 717 is the date. There's that number 17. It's also the 179th day, which comes out to 17. If you add that up, 1 plus 7 plus 9 is 17. So, what a day for XRP to break all time high. I don't think there's any coincidences. There's also 17 people in the YouTube live right now. So yeah, I mean, these things happen, right? Like the geometry of the universe and God is such that even if this isn't planned on a human level, like if it's not, it makes it even more miraculous because it means the divine geometry of the universe is aligning so that all of these things are, representing connections to us, which I think that's even cooler than if this was a human designed, plan in terms of these things happening on these key dates and these key numbers. So we also see Senator Haggerty has said this afternoon the House is going to vote on the Genius Act, and the Genius Act being the Stablecoin Act that earlier in the week was voted on, and it got not enough votes to pass because people were concerned about CBDCs. And what I found interesting about this is that there was actually 3 crypto acts that were put forward. There were 3 bills that were being voted on. One was the Genius Act, the bill for that. One was a CBDC bill, and then I forget what the third one was. If you know, let me know in the comments. But there was a separate bill for CBDCs, and several of the people who were voting on it voted against passing of it because the Genius Act didn't specifically have CBDC legislation in it. So they voted no, but then Trump came out later that day and said, okay, I've talked to like 11 of the 12 people who voted no, and they're on board to vote yes now. So obviously he told them something that reassured them. But either way, we're going to be getting a vote this evening from the House. And meanwhile, there was I forget what it was, some kind of hearing or something going on in Congress today where people were testifying for and against CBDCs. And you had like Maxine Waters and some other people up there that were literally advocating for CBDCs. And that kind of took me off guard because I didn't even realize that there was, that it had become this clear of a partisan thing with the CBDCs, and that now the left is really advocating for CBDCs, especially because they're so afraid of what crypto is going to do. And obviously CBDCs are kind of the antithesis of crypto, completely centralized versus decentralized. And it was just hilarious watching them up there. I just watched it for a few minutes, but like Maxine Waters was just like saying, oh, this is, this idea that CBDCs are used for surveillance is just conspiracy theory. And, that's not what this is for. And we have to trust that this is going to help us and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, they're terrified of the Genius Act passing and crypto in general. And they are putting the focus on it making Trump super rich, while not mentioning that, we have millions of Americans and hundreds of millions of people around the globe, I'm guessing at this point, that are invested in crypto. And so, yeah, Trump is going to benefit because he's smart enough to have taken investments and especially listened to his sons in regards to their crypto research and what they're doing. But it's also going to benefit hundreds of millions and eventually billions of people around the globe, because even if people don't invest in crypto, this new system, what you could call the quantum financial system, is going to benefit everybody out there, just like, different aspects of the internet and technology have made their way into every part of our life and benefited us. And there's been obviously negatives to the internet and, potentially the origins of the internet, but I think it has created a lot of connection, and it's allowed people to, especially on their awakening path, connect with other people who have, gone through their personal awakenings, and then be able to share their stories and create communities. And we've seen just so much grassroots community building since, especially the last decade of the internet and this whole virtual, kind of side reality that we're engaging with right now. And I think crypto is going to be that thing that funds those people. As I've said many times, like, I think this is God extending an olive branch, or a not an olive branch, I guess, but an opportunity, um, to people who not only have the intuitive sense and the eyes to see what's going on, but also have so the feminine being the intuitive, you have to hear God's message, right? But then you have to have the masculine, the expressive, to actually go and take action on that. And it's kind of been this like initiation for the planet, for those that have the eyes to see and the courage to act on that guidance from God, that these are the people who actually generally and genuinely want to serve humanity. And these are the people that are going to be coming into millions and billions of dollars. We're seeing new millionaires being made right now. And over the next few months and years, I think we're going to see tons of new millionaires, some new billionaires, and maybe some first trillionaires. And so, this is going to put the funding in the pockets of the people who really want to make a difference, and that's what the dark is afraid of right now, and why they're trying to bash this so hard. So, here's another clip from Tim Burchett last night saying that he met with Trump, and they want to keep crypto private, like cash, like transactions private, which I thought was really interesting. And I'm not totally sure what he means by that, because obviously we do have, most blockchains out there are transparent, right? And that's been a criticism for some, but a virtue in other cases. And I think, we're moving into a time period in general where, transparency is going to become more and more of a commonplace thing, like not just in this whole 3D financial realm, but consciously. I think we're moving into a new paradigm, whether you want to call that the 5D or the new Earth or the fourth density, the golden age, whatever lens you view that through. I believe we're moving into this new paradigm of consciousness where we're going to be increasingly more in tune with each other. We're going to be more telepathic. We're going to be able to see more obviously where people are deceiving both us on a personal level, but also on a big public level. And so with that, I think cryptocurrency fits into that, because generally, all the top cryptos, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, aside from the few small privacy coins like Monero, I think Filecoin, there's certain cryptos that do enable privacy. I think XDC as well, hybrid ledger that allows that. But most of them are public. And so what that means is, I mean, of course, you can track individual transactions, and that would be the criticism for some, that, we won't be able to hide things. But it's also like anything digital right now, you can't hide anyway, right? Especially in a bank account. Like, you can have cash or gold, and yeah, that's off the record, but anything digital is already being tracked to an extensive level. But one of the virtues of this is now everything on the public level, on the government level, on the corporate level will be tracked. And so if taxes are put on the blockchain, if government expenditures are put on the blockchain, we'll be able to see exactly where all of this money is going. And that opens up the avenue through, what Doge has been doing as well, to not just get out the surface level stuff of, okay, yeah, slush accounts, fraudulent spending, wasteful spending, the things that Doge kind of exposed in a very basic tip of the iceberg level, but it opens up all of the deeper Black project funding as well. And those of you that have studied Black projects and the secret space program, and these hidden technologies and what these corporations and government agencies are doing, know that they fund it through these kind of fraudulent and poor and wasteful expenditures. And that's where you get like $10,000 toilet seats on a military budget, $20,000 hammers, things that like don't make sense, that just get glossed over. And then these funds are going into deep programs. And so if there becomes a government standard that all expenditures must go through the blockchain, that instantly makes that transparent and opens up that for the public to see exactly where this money is going. And then clearly they wouldn't be funding these rogue programs anymore if it's very obvious that people's like tax dollars and other funding are going into these programs. So what he's referencing here, he didn't get very specific about like private crypto transactions, but to me it kind of signals either that means there will be anonymity in some sense. So, right now when you purchase crypto, you have to do what's called KYC, which is know your customer. And what that means is, those of you that have done it, you have to, submit your social security number, your identification, your driver's license or passport, a selfie. And in other countries, it's a lot more invasive too. You have to do videos and all sorts of stuff, because they really want to know who you are. So perhaps they will lessen the requirements for KYC so that it's not as invasive, or maybe they'll keep it the same, but they won't um, require KYC for wallets, which currently right now you don't have to KYC your wallet, which is why, typically when I'm coaching people, I refer them to go to the exchange to purchase and not to a wallet to purchase. Because if you do purchase through something like Exodus wallet or Zaman wallet or Lobster wallet, you have to KYC within the wallet, which means that your wallet is now tied to your identity. Whereas if you purchase through one of the crypto exchanges like Coinbase, Kraken, Crypto.com, Uphold, and you transfer to a wallet, that wallet still remains anonymous. And obviously they can see that you transferred it there, but unless they ask you directly, which I've only seen in the case of Uphold, transactions over a certain amount, they'll ask you, whose wallet is this? But like Coinbase and others, I've not seen them ask that. So they don't know if it's your wallet, if it's your brother or your dad or your grandma or your kid or your friend. And so maybe they will maintain that anonymity for the blockchain, where even though it is transparent on the blockchain level, they won't require KYC for the wallets, which is something under the previous administration that they were going to require if they even allowed private custody, because they were going down that pathway of being like, we're going to outlaw private wallets. I did see today in the hearing or whatever it was that took place, one of the members brought up the whole Canadian trucker, um, rally issue with Canada. And that's something that I reference like all the time, because I think it's the best proof of concept for crypto. And if you haven't heard that, I'll summarize it super quick because most of you guys already know about this. But when the Canadian trucker rally happened, the Canadian government shut down all of the truckers' financial accounts and friends of the truckers. So people that were in the network of them, even if you were related to them, they got their accounts shut down. So you couldn't fund those people. So it was bank accounts, Chase or PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and then the crypto exchanges. So like the public exchanges that you purchase from, they also shut down those accounts so that you couldn't do anything. But what they couldn't shut down were the private wallets. So that was the one way that these guys were able to, Sorry, I'm trying to talk and do this here. That was the one way that the truckers were able to uh, transact remotely, was with the private crypto wallets. And then the government even lied and tried to say, hey, like, we're shutting down the private crypto wallets. Total lie. They can't do that. They have no physical way to, but they tried to scare people into not using crypto. And so they brought that up in the hearing that took place today. Or I'm not sure what it was exactly, but I thought that was pretty cool that they brought that up. Yeah, Million X. I do think, the one price David Schwartz has ever put out about XRP that I've seen was $1 million XRP. And he didn't price predict that, but he gave a practical example, quoting a $1 million XRP price as being more practical than a $1 XRP price. And I've never seen him mention um, any other price in relation to XRP. And, he loves his riddles and his cryptic posts. And that seems like a very overt message, that is a potential price factor for XRP, even though it seems way, way out there for most people. Maybe a decade from now, maybe less, that could be a reality. What's up, Lawrence? Clarity. Yep, we're getting clarity finally. So that's why this whole pump is happening, I believe. This is still the speculative market, right? We just talked about speculative market versus utility market. This is still the speculative market. We're not even in the utility phase yet. And that speaks volumes, because when the utility is driving the price, it's going to be a whole different game. And that's where technical analysis, that's where Fibonacci, that's where all of this stuff like goes out the window in terms of being able to predict what's going to happen, because we've never seen a true utility driven market before, at this capacity and this kind of technology. Fed definitely needs to go away. Yep. So I think that, that's coming. We had a toss up this week with, um, you know, as Trump loves to do, he gives curves balls back and forth, right? Constantly jumping back and forth. And so he said, "Oh, I'm probably going to fire Jerome Powell." And then he came out yesterday, and said, "We're not going to fire Jerome Powell," which means they probably made some kind of deal, right? Something probably went down. I do think the Fed will eventually go away, or it will somehow be brought back into the government. If they don't completely get rid of it and move that into the Treasury, then they will probably bring it back under government control. So it's not just a private bank. But we did have ISO 200.22 go live this week for FedWire services, which is domestic federal payments. And that is the biggest shift in payments that has ever been done in history. And yet, it's not reflecting in the market. Maybe it is. Maybe this is reflecting in the market now. But like I said, this is still speculative, I believe. So, when we get the actual utility run, that's when I expect XRP to decouple from the Bitcoin cycle, which right now Bitcoin runs everything in terms of the market cycles. That's how it's been since it was created. The 4-year halving creates 4-year market cycles where, on time with the presidential election years, we get bull runs. But now we're already seeing that kind of break away, because if we stayed within that traditional 4-year bull run cycle, to my knowledge, and maybe some technical analysis, you can comment on this if you're watching, we would be in the downturn of that cycle already. Like, that would have kind of peaked earlier this year, in late winter or spring 2025. And if we were adhering to that cycle exactly, we would, I believe, now be on the downturn. But obviously that's not happening. Bitcoin broke all-time high earlier this week. XRP just broke all-time high for the first time in 7 years. So, soon we could get the actual decoupling of XRP from the rest of the market, from the Bitcoin dominance. And we're already less than, and let's take a look real quick. Let's see exactly where we're at, but we're less than a 2x market cap jump and price jump to overtake Ethereum. Yeah, we're just about a 2x away. So XRP's market cap right now is 196 billion with a B, and Ethereum's is 410 billion. And so we're just under, it would be just over a 2x before XRP flipped Ethereum market cap. And, I think if we continue out of this breakout channel, then I think we're on the path to uh, a $10 XRP. And, technical analysis are saying like $28, $50. Some are saying as high as $100 in the next few months if we continue to break out here. So, like, crazy, crazy life changing things that are happening. And again, congrats to everybody who has had the patience to hold, has, gone through the criticism, gone through their families or their friends, making fun of them. I feel like everybody has, to varying degrees. But if you're here, you probably held strong and kept the faith, not just in XRP, but in God, because mostly everyone that I've met has been guided here from spirit, and to invest in XRP over any other crypto, from this overwhelming guidance from God and from spirit. And so having faith in that, this is the reward. So congratulations. And what's up, buddy? Good to see you. What's up, Barbara? Just got this message. All the bills just passed. They will hit the president desk for him to sign into law. Oh, it just got passed. Wow, nice. So it just happened. That's amazing. Fantastic, fantastic. What's up, Sovereign 17? He's one of our oldest members in Conscious Crypto Academy. If you guys want to join CCA, there's a link down below to book a free strategy call with me, talk about where you're at and if it's a good fit for you. CoinGecko has XRP all-time high at 340 in 2018. All right, well, we're 10 cents away from that. We got to 336 or 7 or 8, so we were super close. Right now we're 330 right now. And I've been seeing 3.6s and 9s. Right? Oh, literally as I said that, it was 3.3033 and then it changed. But I've been seeing 3.6s and 9s, which of course is the Tesla, secrets of the universe magic number. And like, especially today, but the last week, but particularly today, it's just popped up over and over. What's up, LP? Thank you. They say CCA is well worth it. Good to see you. Yeah. So if just quick plug and shout out to all the people in CCA. We've got over 150 people that have joined and over 115 or so active members in our private group chat. So this is a private online academy and community where we teach you step by step how to invest in XRP, the basics, and really going in depth about like the conceptual side of the whole crypto world, really giving you a really solid foundation of like how it all works, to the point where my goal is you can go out and teach other people. That's a true sign that you've learned something and mastered something, is if you can teach others. So that's my goal. What's up, Jack? So yeah, we give you step-by-step tutorial instruction videos on how to do every single thing that I talk about and that I've ever talked about here. So from the super basics to buying XRP, setting up your wallet, from app wallets, soft wallets, to cold storage wallets like the Decent, the Ledger, the various kinds of wallets out there. We teach you all the differences between them, how to safely transact and withdraw to your wallet, because that's where I find most people get stuck is, they buy XRP or they buy crypto and they got their wallet, but they're like, oh, I don't feel confident moving it. So we cover all that basic stuff. And then we go really in depth into like DeFi, decentralized finance. And we focus on the XRP ecosystem and the ISO 20022 ecosystem. So Sologenic, largest layer 2 on the XRPL, is a big focus. Corium, we teach you how to do 42 to 50% annual returns and staking rewards on the Corium network right now, which is also the smallest crypto in our portfolio, for a big utility project that has institutional connections. And this stuff gets pretty complicated, even for people in the know and that have invested for a while. On the Sigma meme coin, XRP meme coin X space that I was just on, which we're going to talk about Sigma and some of the other XRP meme coins that you should have on your radar. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we were talking about in that space how even for people that have been in crypto for a bit, all the DeFi stuff can be really complicated. Liquidity pools, automated market makers, connecting wallets to different platforms, bridging tokens from one network to another. There's so much opportunity in these protocols right now, because the way it works is the earlier that you are in, the more rewards there are to be made. That's how DeFi works. So that's why like we're taking full advantage of these now, because there will be a moment where it becomes easier for the masses. And there will be a moment where people are onboarding much more quickly because it's easier. But right now, there's this kind of learning curve wall that keeps out people who are not really like totally kind of obsessed with learning this technology. And so that's what we do in CCA is we break it down super easy. I've worked with people who are like super not good with technology, people as old as their late 70s, as young as like 19, 20, all age ranges, all demographics. We all come from a spiritual place, which is why it's conscious crypto. So, spirit is really, God is the main guide in what we're doing here. And that's how I find certain projects as well, as through my intuition, and then going and doing all the research, the dot connecting, the community engagement, and really finding a good balance of both the intuitive and the logical, rational hemispheres of the brain or ways of being. So yeah, shout out to you, Nancy. Good to see you. Jace's tutorials are stellar. So well articulated. Stellar. There's a good pun there. um, so Malcolm says, I don't believe in God. We are the advanced monkeys. Well, it's okay. You don't have to believe in God. You know, common man, the people building the tech of the past and the future believe we evolved this on the planet. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever you feel. Like everyone has got their own connections. Some people feel connected to universal intelligence, but they don't want to put the label of God on it. I use the word God not in the traditional religious sense, but in the sense of a universal intelligence that connects everything and everybody. My personal belief is we are all a part of God. He, or not he, they, it, it's not even, there's not like gender to it. It exists in everything. It's literally in my opinion, the building blocks of reality itself is the God universal intelligence. But, um, that's everyone's personal journey. Like you're welcome to be here and hang out and, be an atheist. And that's what this is all about, is like finding connection, no matter where we're at, no matter what we believe. I think the important thing is that we come together and we connect and we find community and we grow and evolve together. And that's what, to me, the crypto stuff is all about. And that'll get us into the meme coins in a second too, because that's what I think the meme coins are. The meme coins are the grassroots community that is evolving out of this whole blockchain culture. Most of these cryptos that we invest in are, institutional, corporate. They come from a company, or, at least now they're involved with companies. But the other end of the spectrum is the meme coins, because they are the grassroots community run side of crypto with little to no corporate or big money institutional connections. And that's where I really think this is going with the meme coins. Is what we've seen over the past few years, 5 years or so, is these just get rich quick pump and dump schemes where most of these meme coins, they'll pump and people will make some money, but then a lot of people lose a lot of money, right? And people are making money off of the money that people are losing, and it's just not a great system. And that's where a lot of people are now rightfully very sketched out by meme coins. And they, has been like kind of the gambling side of things for sure. But where I see it evolving is being grassroots communities where people share a mutual vision and they are in it not for a get rich quick pump and dump, but they're in it for the long run for the community side of it. And that's where I've really seen this crypto sigma really shine. So I did have some other things to talk about, but we'll come back to that because this is a good time to kind of get into what Sigma is doing and who's connected to it, and why I think it's a good project to have on your radar. And here, let me just pull up the meme coin website, which is called First Ledger. And we'll talk a little bit about that. All right, let me get this down. And let me just go through all the comments real quick before I jump into that so I don't get behind. What's up, Pat? Good to see you. Who created the monkeys? Which is a good point. I think once crypto is embraced, we can probably see companies paying their employees daily and not weekly, biweekly. Yes, that is okay. So before we jump into the meme coins, we'll quickly talk about this. Payroll is going to be on crypto. So, one of the things with the Corium staking rewards that we're getting right now is they pay out in real time every second of every day. So, if you have Corium staked, you'll go in your wallet and you'll see, literally every time you refresh the screen, there will be funds dripping into your account. And that's where I see in the near future when Corium really takes off, that's going to be like people's main income, where you'll be able to live off of the rewards and not have to sell your original principal investment because you'll just live off the interest. And eventually, I think that'll be coming to XRP and other cryptos as well through like Flare networks doing their F assets. And there's going to be a lot of options for creating yield with your various cryptos. But yeah, so payroll will be, I have no doubt, on the blockchain where you're going to get paid out not even daily, but like every second, every millisecond of every day, you're going to get paid. And that'll be huge for financial liberation to be able to use, the money you're generating from your labor or your services instantly instead of having to wait for a paycheck and all this friction in the financial system. Yeah. Shout out to you, Malcolm. Best part about utility and asset backed system. Yeah. All right. So let's go over the meme coins real quick, and then we'll jump back into some of the other relative stories from today. And if you guys have any questions about crypto or anything you want to pick my brain about, feel free to ask in the comments and we'll have a conversation about it. So this is the website where you can access XRP memes. And I do have, okay, I did put it in the description. I have a personal referral link to use this platform. So if you click that down below, the first ledger link, you can create a wallet. It'll be a new XRP wallet. I think they may route it all through Telegram now, but Telegram is the way that I access it. They basically have a Telegram bot that allows you to connect your new XRP wallet to that Telegram bot, and you can do all of your buying and your trading and your selling and everything all in a Telegram chat with this bot. And so it makes it super easy, especially if you are already on Telegram a lot. They used to have it where you can have a separate wallet, but I don't know if they have that anymore, because when I clicked that link recently, it just prompted me to set up Telegram directly. So yeah, if basically you create that new wallet, you'd fund some XRP to that wallet from wherever your XRP's at, you'd send some there, and then you can swap into any of these coins directly. So, there's a handful of coins here. Solo is technically not a meme coin, but they did put it on this list to, kind of show the relative size. And, that's good for Solo because, again, it's the biggest layer 2 on the XRPL. You have Fuzzy, which is one of the ones that I'm invested in alongside Sigma that I think is going to do really well. I've talked about Fuzzy in the past. I think it could actually be potentially from the Ripple Riddlers themselves. It's leading me in that direction. But even if not, they have really good marketing, they have really good design, and they are currently the biggest project. So good blue chip project, if you will. And then the other big one that I recently just made my number one holding, which I've been in the community since near its inception last October. It's been less than a year, and I've been holding it since like maybe December or something like that. But recently made it my number one XRP meme coin. And so Sigma is a truly grassroots community run project out there. And it's the one that I'm seeing is the most like on the ground, like actually doing stuff, actually doing weekly or multiple weekly spaces, doing events. So they organized for the XRP Las Vegas conference, they organized this massive after party, which I was bummed to miss, but I was sick on the back of traveling for a few weeks, so I couldn't make it out. But my buddy Zach from the Zen Lounge, who runs the biggest Corium validator as well and super involved in this community, shout out to him, because him and my other friend Lainey are basically the biggest voices and community members of Sigma right now, alongside a number of other people. I'm not saying they're the only ones, but I'm personally friends with them, and they're really involved in the Sigma community. And so they put on this huge after party that they got all sorts of other crypto meme coins and other projects sponsored and involved. And I think they had over 1,000 people there. I'm not sure exactly, but if you were there, let me know. But I'm pretty sure it was like over 1,000 people. And like, I also had this dream that I haven't talked about on here, but I had this dream that Zach, again, my buddy, I did roundtables with him, like videos in the past. Maybe you guys have seen. Um, I had this dream that he was holding an event in Vegas, and it felt like a part of this community. Like it was probably Sigma and like Sologenic Corium community related is what it felt like. But it was a huge, huge event, and not only did I just get this super overwhelmingly like, oh my God, like we've done it and they did it, and like this is huge, and it had this such powerful vibe to it. But on top of that, there was literally time travelers in my dream at the event. So in my dream, I realized people had time traveled from the future to come back in time to visit this specific event because it was so powerful. And it was like, it felt to me like it was like a Woodstock level event culturally, like it had that much significance. And so like my parents were there, not just in the present, but like their future selves were there having time traveled back. So there was like doubles of people in the present and then people in the future. And it just, I can't help but, connect it to these time travel theories about 17 and about Mr. Poole, and even things more obscure like the wing makers. If you guys are familiar with the wing makers, this constantly present idea in various parts of our culture of humans from the future that are time traveling, whether just through communication or in the physical, to communicate with us right now about how important these shifts that we're going through really are. And I can't put words to like how profound it felt in the dream, but it was really profound. And it felt like this was a big part of it. So just to share something, kind of fun and a little more, I don't know, woo woo, I guess you could say, about this stuff. But yeah, Sigma, not just in terms of the culture and the community, but if you want to talk about the technical analysis of it and where the chart is at, unfortunately, the chart had this huge spike, which is now making it hard to actually look at the true price action over time because of this outlier spike in the price. But if you can find, and maybe I can pull it up on like X Magnetic or something, but if you can find a true representation of the Sigma chart, it's at a really, really juicy price. We're about, I think currently like 6 or 7x out from previous all-time high. It's sitting at just under a $4 million market cap. And if you follow, I would recommend, if you want to kind of learn more about the meme culture in general, follow me on X, follow Zach on X, Zen Lounge, and join some of these X spaces. There is a community member named Bunny. He goes by Bunny, who recently did a video with Zach over on his channel, Zen Lounge, which I recommend checking out as well. Where they really went into the price action of, actually, no, with Bunny, it was about solo. He did another video with another community member, I think BRW he goes by, talking about the Sigma price. But both of them were like extremely bullish, and both have provided really good technical analysis of where this could go, and it's really quite something. It's exciting. So the chart, current place of the chart combined, mostly the biggest factor for me is that community side, because like I said, um, where I see this all going is being like community driven projects. That's what meme coins are. They're not going to be just these pump and dumps anymore. They're going to be the ones that have longevity, that stick around, are going to be the ones that have community. And what crypto community has more conviction in their investment than the XRP community? And that's why in general, these XRP memes I see as having such a advantage over any other blockchain meme coin space, because the XRP holders are known for being just crazy when it when it comes to holding XRP for years and years and years with no price action and having so much conviction and so much faith. And now you're getting that vibe, that conviction in the meme coins. And that's something we've never seen. With the Ethereum and Solana meme coins, so many of them are what they call JEETs, which are people who are just look for a quick buck and then they're out. They don't care about the community. They just want to make a quick buck and do it at other people's expense. And this community is all about like for instance, just recently in one of the Sigma spaces, but also across the space, people are very proactive about like taking ethical profits. So, obviously at some point you're probably going to want to take profits if these do really well, but we don't want to just dump on the market. We want to do it ethically. We want to do limit orders. We want to do small amounts. And people are very respectful of other investors in this whole space, and especially in Sigma. And that's like such a huge green flag because like I said, we haven't had that with other cryptocurrencies out there, with other meme coins on other blockchains like Ethereum and Solana. And already there's so many people coming from those old meme coin spaces, liquidating their memes and their Ethereum and their Solana and coming over to XRP. And I'm seeing just tons of influencers, having a following on X, what people are doing. So many posts going viral of people from the old school meme coin space saying, hey, XRP is where it's at. This is still so undervalued. I think if I have this right, like 5% of Solana's market cap is meme coins. And for XRP, I think it's like 0.01% or less. So relatively, this is still so small. And the overall meme coin market cap it's got to be less than, a couple 100 million, 300 million or something like that. I'm not sure if it says on here, but the biggest one right now, Fuzzy, is still only 30 million. Previously, Army was at nearly 100 million market cap. So this is kind of the turnaround point right now for these meme coins too. And this is part of what we're exploring in Conscious Crypto Academy. So we're like going over the weekly charts and talking about, what I'm looking at that week and sharing research and, which meme coins people are getting into. So this is becoming, a bigger part of like what we're teaching about personally, and what I think is going to be a really big opportunity. And the other thing with this is you can think about these meme coins as being an investment in XRP with additional risk. And this is something I wish I had it pulled up, but David Schwartz had made a post about this, talking about how, because of the way that these markets work, these are mostly running on AMMs, which are automated market makers. So most of the liquidity for these is locked up in AMMs that basically, they trade relative to XRP. So if we pull up, let's say Sigma again, and we look at the price of it, and this is more geared towards people who are brand new to this. Obviously, those of you who have been buying this know this already, but these are traded in terms of XRP. So this is buying Sigma with your XRP, and so this price you're seeing is not the US dollar value. They do give it to you down here as well if you wanted to see the US dollar value, but the big price is in terms of XRP. So when these are trading, when XRP goes up, the US dollar price of these automatically go up as well. And so, like, if you just saw the chart go completely sideways with no up or down, it's going to move when XRP moves. So if XRP goes up 10% and Sigma is trading sideways, then Sigma will also go up 10%. But if Sigma goes up like it did right here, on top of XRP going up, then you're getting extra US dollar value increase. And so one of the ways that I look at this is these meme coins are a good way to take the trust and the investment that you have in XRP and provide some additional risk for additional return possibilities. And that's exactly what David Schwartz had commented on, that this is a good way to like basically uh, use your XRP to potentially make more XRP. And so if these do really well, you're going to have a larger value of what your XRP is. Like if this chart keeps going up and up and up, that means Sigma relative to XRP is going to be going up, meaning, again, you won't just be getting the XRP increase in value, but you'll be getting additional US dollar value because both are going up in that scenario. And so, we might see people come out of this, and I've already seen people say they've made like crazy amounts of XRP from these meme coins. And of course, you can lose money too. Like I've lost money, I've made money with these. But particularly the ones that have good communities that you're in for the long run, if those continue to go up, your XRP bags could get multiplied many times over, where you could have a lot more XRP than you initially started with because you took some early mover advantage into some of these meme coins. So just to kind of put that out there. And if you guys have any questions about how these work, let me know. Um, okay, let me jump back. Okay, Mia says, "How in the world do I move crypto into my Lobster wallet?" So we do have direct tutorials for how to do this in Conscious Crypto Academy. If you're interested in joining that, I can give you the super simple um, explanation, but generally, having tutorials and being able to ask on coaching calls and tap in with the community is going to be really helpful. But it's going to be the same way that you withdraw money to any wallet. So, when you're doing a crypto transaction from anywhere to anywhere, whether it's exchange or wallet to a wallet or another exchange or whatever, you want to think of it like sending mail, right? You got to get the person's receiving address. So you need to get your receiving address on the Lobster wallet, and then you take that over to wherever your crypto is, and you click send or whatever way they phrase it, and you send to that address. And just keep in mind, Lobster is a Stellar wallet only. So this brings up a good point too. I've seen a lot of videos of people talking about holding your XRP on Lobster, and you just need to be aware that if you hold XRP on Lobster, it's not real XRP, it's fake wrapped XRP. And what that means is it you're trusting a third party company, like the one that I've seen that people use on Stellar or on Lobster, on Stellar as well, is called like F Chain. And so you're trusting this company F Chain, which I think is a Chinese company, to hold actual XRP that back up your IOU wrapped XRP. So yeah, I've seen a lot of videos of people being like, you want to put your XRP on Lobster because it's quantumly safe. And that's where this really gets into like the scammy world of, people being misinformed and like scamming others. And, you want to be aware of how blockchain networks work, and Lobster is a Stellar blockchain only. So for instance, you would not want to send XRP directly to your Lobster wallet. I think they might have a thing now where it'll sell it. Like if you send some XRP to Lobster, I've seen people post that sometimes their automated market maker will sell it into XLM, and so it'll show up in your wallet as XLM. But you just want to be aware, like, it's a Stellar specific wallet, just like Zamin is a XRP specific wallet. Well, that's the basic rundown. But we give direct tutorials showing you step by step in CCA on how to do it. Jelly Wallet. Is that I don't know about Jelly Wallet. There's a Joey Wallet that just came out that is pretty popular. That's kind of competing against the Zalman Wallet. Jelly Wallet, I don't know. Maybe that's connected to that Jelly meme coin by Crypto Bitlord. I'm not sure. What's up? What's up? Good to see you. Good day. 17th. Yeah, different wallets, good for different crypto. Exactly. So that's what we really break down in CCA too, is like which wallets are for which applications, which wallets you can just store everything on long term, which wallets you have to have for certain DeFi applications or certain blockchains. It does get a little complicated, but that's the early investor advantage too, is like if you can get past the barriers of the learning curve and the complications, by the time it goes mainstream and it's super easy, you're going to be in a whole different category than people that are just coming in as new investors. Bring that liquidity. How do you research what meme coins are connected to XRP? So if you go to that website that I just showed you, firstledger.net, but use the link down in my description. That'll give me a little bit of a kickback. It like takes a percentage of your trading fees and it gives me a kickback of that. But yeah, First Ledger, all of those coins are XRP meme coins. So I haven't seen a single one that has been listed on a major exchange yet. So like your Coinbase, your Kraken, your Uphold, I think has a couple of the random ones. But like there's not been any major exchange listings. So that's the early mover advantage too, is these are not anywhere at the market cap of like Doge and Pepe and blah, 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 which are in the billions of market cap. All of the XRP ones are the top one's 30 million and they're all less than that right now. So the big race with the XRP meme coins is which one will be the first to the 1 billion market cap valuation. And I would guess that there's going to be many. Tangent Wallet, I can't speak for. I've never used it. I hear people have used it. I've never heard of any issues with it, but I personally prefer the Decent wallet, which I have a discount link for down below. It'll get you $30 off and give me a kickback as well if you want to support me. The Tangent wallet's a card wallet, whereas the Decent is a physical hardware wallet. They do have a card wallet as well, but in general, I've never used card wallets. I think they do have an application in terms of their ease of use, but in terms of security, I find the cold storage like the Decent to be more secure than the card wallets. But not that they're bad. It's just I think it's just a different like security tier, if you will. Yeah. So Maya, I'm not sure how you say it, but click if you want to learn more, click the booking link with me down below for Conscious Crypto, my Calendly link, and it's a free 30-minute strategy call, and we'll see if it's a good fit for you. We'll explain everything, how it works, the cost, all that stuff, and that's if you're feeling like you're struggling right now, like that's going to help you out for sure. Like everybody that's come in, we've been able to help them out no matter how much they struggle with crypto. Like it's super, super supportive. Literally, I sit with the group members for hours every Sunday going over any issues that they're having. We troubleshoot specific things. It makes it like so much more of a breeze if you're really struggling with it right now. And yeah, that's the link. Thank you, Joel. That's the link to my website where it'll tell you a little bit more about the course, and then you'll find the booking link in there too if you click join. Ada Cardano, I think it will probably be a successful one. I don't own any myself, but there was a recent story or rumor that Cardano could be used as one of the DeFi arms for XRP. And we have seen Charles Hoskinson, who is the creator of Cardano. He was actually just on the Sean Ryan podcast, which I haven't watched that yet, but I want to see that. But he used to be kind of anti XRP because the XRP community they just butted heads a lot because he would say kind of flamboyant things and then they'd come after him and then they'd fight. But now Ripple and Cardano have established somewhat of an alliance and they talk very positively of each other. So I would not doubt that there could be around for the long run. Again, I don't have any. But if it did become a way that we could use Cardano to create passive income and have DeFi applications with our XRP, alongside networks like Flare and Corium and others, that would be a really good sign. And again, I think there's going to be a lot of different ways. Right now, pretty much there's no solid decentralized way to generate interest yield or staking or anything on your XRP. But in the near future, I think there's going to be a ton. There will be centralized and decentralized. So the decentralized would be like we could do it through Cardano. We know Flare Networks is going to be launching that very soon with their F assets. Corium, I would expect to have a way to do that as well. But also we know Ripple just applied to become a bank. And so if Ripple became a bank, then that would be in my opinion, the number one centralized way to, I'm assuming they would provide financial services is what I'm saying, to be able to get loans on your XRP, maybe borrow, you lend Ripple your XRP, they borrow it, and you could get a percentage interest or something like that. It opens up a lot of possibilities. So I think there's going to be a handful of ways. And it's, the best will win, right? Like it'll inspire competition for competitive rates and competitive like yield percentages. Maya, awesome. Good to know. I got ADA instead of XLM on July 1st, and I'm hurting now. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean it's not too late. Like, yeah, I don't own any ADA, but to me, it's just never called to me as one that's going to have a really high return of investment. Defo the struggle bus. Yeah. Well, book a call with me and we'll chat and we'll see if it's a good fit for you. Um, I have like, let's see, today's Thursday. I think tomorrow is my last available day before I'm going to have a week off from doing calls. And then the following week, I'll be back to be taking calls again. If you guys want to book a free strategy call with me to join Conscious Crypto. What's up, Kimber? Kimber is a CCA member. Good to see you. Nothing makes me smile more than this intro. Take you to the place, the remembrance of why we are. I just love it. Yeah, I love the intro too. I made that a couple years ago, and every time I play it still, especially when I'm gone for a few months on YouTube and I come back and I play it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's got good vibes. It's a good feeling. Seems like ADA is kind of diverse with gaming and academic institutions as well as banking. Yeah, I can't personally speak too much to it. I haven't really deep dived on ADA, but a lot of people really like it. What's up, Jeremy? Shout out, man. The Regarden. Hey, hopping over from Alexis's live. Yeah, my wife Alexis is also live right now. It's a good time for it. The energy's here. Any advice on student loans? I've been not paying a cent. I can't give any advice on student loans, but I do feel the possibility of debt forgiveness being right around the corner. Um, yeah, I don't know specifically. Like, I mean, what I would say is crypto would be the way to really uh, kind of pay off any debt, in my opinion. Like if you can invest in crypto, that could be very life changing, depending on how much you can put in, and that could pay off your student loans many times over potentially. So, and then of course, if there is some kind of debt forgiveness, which is I think a possibility, then that would be even better. So I think I sense, a lot of people obviously are struggling with debt of various kinds. Um, I sense that there is a solution coming. And to me, the most on paper guaranteed thing is crypto. Like if we do get a Nasara Jasara debt forgiveness, everybody gets a payout, that would be awesome. Like that would be fantastic. But as far as what we can be proactive about right now that we know is happening, that's unfolding before our eyes, to me it's all crypto. ETF tomorrow, that would be dope. That'd be pretty crazy. Keyfinder says your friend Aaron, I'm assuming from Journey to Truth, turned me on to XRP in early 2022 because of your advice. I owe you for that. Awesome. I love that. Thanks for letting me know. Shout out to you. Booking now for the 29th. Awesome. I'll see you then. See you then, Maya. What's up, Ascension Diaries? Aren't you supposed to be on your live stream right now? Did you end already? How are you doing that? Samantha and Dean, definitely going to book a call with you, but I'm in Australia, so I'll have to be after the week you have off, but I'm excited for this. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so book it when you can. We have a lot of people from Australia in our community. I would say it's the second biggest country behind the USA represented in our community. So we got people from all over the place, like from Melbourne to Victoria to up north in Queensland. Um, yeah, Australia is in the XRP community in general too. I'm seeing they're a big, um, a big representation, and I just feel this like connection between the U.S. and Australia that's been closening over the last few years, even outside of crypto, just in the cultural realm. It feels like there's this significant connection going on, and it makes me wonder about the future of these countries and the Commonwealth, and the potential for these Commonwealth countries becoming a part of the United States, perhaps. May it be. Many thanks. You're welcome. Oh, awesome. Crypto focus. Let's go. So, and it's back up. We're at 335 for XRP. What's up, Annette? Good to see you. Thanks, guys, for coming over from her stream. Much love. So let's see what else we got here. We did have Carolyn Levitt is that how you say her name? Carolyn Levitt, the White House press secretary. They talked about crypto today in the press briefing. And I'm trying to remember what specifically they said, but I do have a clip here that I didn't watch in advance yet, but it was the only clip I could find because this just happened. So let me share this.
Genius Act, which you noted has passed through Congress and will be sent to the president's desk. I believe the House is voting on it. If they haven't, they should be passing it. We know we have the votes, and we expect it to get to the president's desk, and we are planning a signing ceremony tomorrow afternoon. All of you will get more details on that. Genius Act, which you noted has passed through Congress and will be sent.
Okay, I was hoping it was going to be more than that. Let's see, maybe this one. Oh no, that one was about Trump. I guess has some kind of vein issue, but he got a full exam and they're not worried about it. They're just likening it to old age. They talked about how he had like bruising on his hand and how it's just like because he's shaking so many people's hands and he's older and his veins are weaker. But we'll see if the media makes that like a big talking point, like, oh, he's unhealthy, blah blah blah. I was hoping to find a better clip, but this one's fake. A Bitcoin card, not true. Watch out for the AI stuff. These are all old. I'll have to go back and watch it, but she said something about crypto and payments, and I forgot what exactly it is, but something about payments. But another interesting thing that happened was that the U.S. government came out with their Bitcoin holdings, and they had a fraction of the Bitcoin that they were thought to have had. So people were under the impression that the U.S. government had like 200, was it? I think 200,000 Bitcoin, I think is what people thought they had. And they came out like today or last night and said that they actually have like 30 something thousand Bitcoin. So a fraction of what they had previously. And maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe Joel, you saw that too, and maybe you can comment the exact numbers if you know it. But yeah, interesting. I hope not, but I mean, everything in divine timing, right? Like everything happens for a reason. He was obviously saved to stick around for at least this period in time. But I mean, he is an older guy. Makes sense. You get, you know, stuff going on with your veins and your body when you're pushing over 80. But yeah, so the Bitcoin allocation that the government has is a fraction of what we thought it was. So people are starting to question, why? We don't know when that selling took place. I see some people saying that might have taken place under the last administration, selling off a lot of Bitcoin. But I don't know. To me, what it signals is that they know that Bitcoin is already outdated and they know that it is not going to have longevity and it's not meant for payments, you know. And if you're not aware of all of this, like, Bitcoin tops out at 5 transactions per second. So Visa does 1,500 transactions per second, which is the bare minimum of what XRP does as well. XRP can go up to like 36,000, but at its bare operating, 1,500 transactions per second for XRP versus 5 to 7 for Bitcoin. So what that means is it can only do 5 to 7 per second. And so the more people that are using Bitcoin, especially around the world and governments and institutions, the transaction rates are going to get so slow. And right now, mostly people use a layer 2 called the Lightning Network to do their Bitcoin transactions, which make it near instant. But the Lightning Network has a lot of issues within itself, and it takes away a lot of the virtues of Bitcoin in the first place. It's very centralized. It's not very secure. It's had a lot of issues, the Lightning Network. And so it's not a solid solution to Bitcoin, whereas XRP, as we know, was created to be the solution for Bitcoin. So I don't know how Bitcoin has longevity. It also, one Bitcoin transaction can power the average home for over a week for one transaction. Like, that's insane. Um, so to me, it signals that the government or whoever is managing those accounts is aware that Bitcoin is not going to be the one, and that it's already outdated and inefficient, slow, and expensive. And I would imagine they know that XRP is the future of payments and of tokenization. Um, and that's why XRP was the first one that Trump listed in the reserve like a few months ago when he tweeted out the different reserve cryptos. XRP was the first. And Bitcoin wasn't even in that list until the second tweet when people got mad. And so he was like, oh, yeah, Bitcoin, of course, Bitcoin. And then recently, when he was at one of the crypto summits where they had the FIFA trophy, Trump had said something that likened us to think that he doesn't know about Bitcoin's future either. And I forgot exactly what he said, but he made a comment that was like, well, we don't really know about that, or we'll see what happens with that. And to me, it was like, oh, okay. He's trying to let people know, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Bitcoin. And pretty much the only reason people are buying Bitcoin is because people who invest all their money in Bitcoin are telling them to buy Bitcoin. It's the Michael Saylors, it's um, the people in the government and various large stakeholders in Bitcoin who pretty much only like Bitcoin, and they're all in on Bitcoin, telling their followers, Bitcoin's the best, the original's the best, no crypto is like Bitcoin. And I find it to be extremely misleading and disingenuous. Or maybe they genuinely believe it is the best, but most of these people that are top holders in Bitcoin were early investors and they did it for the money. And of course, they want their project to. Are we back? Let's see. Okay, I think we're back. That was weird. Let me know if my audio is still there. My browser just went black and was like, said it had some issues. Okay, thanks for sticking around, guys. I'm glad that was easy enough that it just popped back on. They don't like what I'm talking about. Maybe. I don't know. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Yeah, that was really weird. I've never had that happen. Um, I'm just grateful it didn't fully end the stream. So thank you, StreamYard, for having a good system there. Um, so yeah, I mean, basically the people that are telling you to buy Bitcoin are the people that are all in on Bitcoin, and they generally are not educated about the rest of the crypto space. And so they're getting their talking points from these few individuals, who, Michael Saylor being a big one. I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Saylor. He has trash talked XRP for a long, long time. And I feel like he's misleading people, kind of disingenuous. And, recently when they started having meetings with the White House, there was a funny like meme because, right before the election or before the inauguration, after the election, a bunch of crypto people met with Trump on a bunch of different private meetings. And Michael Saylor met with, I think it was Eric Trump. It's either Eric or Don, but I think it was Eric Trump. And meanwhile, like that same week, Brad and Stuart Alderati of Ripple met with Trump himself, and people were like, "Oh yeah, Ripple was meeting with Trump while they sent Michael Saylor to meet with Eric." And then it was like after that period of time that Michael Saylor stopped trash talking XRP. He used to trash talk it every time it got brought up, saying it was worthless and it was no value and blah blah blah. And then I first saw it on the Patrick Bet David podcast. He was asked about XRP, and he didn't do his typical like trash talk it. He just kind of was derailed it and moved to another conversation. And it was kind of, I think he said something that was like, well, yeah, it might stick around or, whatever, but totally changing his tune. So I imagine he was told something or became privy to some information that, changed his perspective, or maybe he was told not to do that, or who knows what, but definitely he had a change in tune. Yes, good point, Maya. Yeah. Well, what I've noticed is that XRP is the most spiritual community within crypto. And I've seen people outside of the XRP community say that about XRP, not just the spiritual part, but I've seen people outside of XRP that are Bitcoin or Solana point out and admit, yeah, XRP has the tightest community out there of any crypto. But also, from what I've noticed, it's the most spiritual, like what we've talked about. So many of us have been guided to XRP from higher guidance, and not everybody. Like there was, who is it? Malcolm in the chat, was saying he's an atheist. That's not how he found XRP. But like personally, so many of the people I've talked to, they've had crazy stories about just feeling super divine guidance, which is how I had it. I got synchronicities and first saw it at 17 cents and 17. That was like the big thing for me. And other people, like I've literally had someone say a golden ET came to them in a dream and told them to buy XRP, and then told them to come to me for help specifically. And visions of ETs coming to people, like lots of ET stories. And then just like general, really strong guidance from God. Like they felt this really strong push, even though they didn't have any crypto and they didn't like crypto, like something about XRP. And so I think there's a reason for that. And generally what I've seen is the Bitcoin people are in it just for the money. They're in it mostly. And I'm, of course, generalizing here, very generalizing, but most of the Bitcoin crowd is in it for the Lambos and the mansions and the girls and the party lifestyle and like that kind of thing. And the XRP community, generalizing again, but on average, from what I've seen, is in it for making the world a better place and making humanity, more empowered, and giving the money to the people who really have these like divine missions or plans to change the world. So, yeah, I would agree with you. There's a definitely a vibe difference there. And again, not everybody. I'm not accusing anybody, or it's definitely a generalization, but like average vibe of each space. So all natural. Rebecca says, "Do I think there will be a dip for XRP before writing up further?" I didn't talk about that yet. I don't think there will be. I obviously don't know exactly how it's going to play out. Like nobody does for sure. And I don't really do too much of the technical analysis side of things. I'm more intuitive based when it comes to, the timing and the price action. I do feel like, there will probably be a correction, just because that's how, run ups normally happen historically. If we repeat, similar past cycles, we usually get big jumps up and then it comes down a little bit. Big jumps up, comes down a little bit. But so I do see that happening potentially, unless we go into this full blown utility cycle, which is where I think it'll just be like, we could wake up and it's worth thousands of dollars. And that's that whole overnight scenario that Mr. Poole and the Ripple Riddlers and this whole flip the switch scenario is that idea of we go to bed, it's a couple dollars, we wake up, it's hundreds or thousands or more. But that would be utility. That would be that moment. Until then, things are speculative and they will have pullbacks. So it just depends what happens. But I don't see personally a return to the prices that we were at previously. Like if this runs up to $4 or $5, $10, yeah, there could be a pullback to where we're at right now, or like going back down to the low $3 range. But I don't personally see like a sub $2 XRP again. But you never know. But if there was, I would take advantage of it. I see both as blessings. If you're, I guess this question is maybe more pertinent to people that are not in yet. If you're just learning about this and you're like, okay, I don't have any XRP and I don't know what to do, versus people who already have some. And for those of us that already have some, I see both as blessings. If it goes up, it's a blessing, obviously. If it goes down, it's a blessing because you can buy more. And I think that's a good, way to look at it, so that you're always kind of in gratitude. But if you're just getting into it, and I don't know if you are, but for people that maybe haven't bought yet, I would just, if it's me personally, I would just not wait, because I've seen people get wrecked or missed opportunities from waiting, from thinking, okay, it's going to come down. I'm just going to wait until then. And that's where like the dollar cost average strategy comes in, which we teach about in CCA, which is like, basically just the idea that, you take advantage of the moment, you put what you can in the moment. Maybe that's a fraction of what you have totally allocated or prepared to put into crypto. Maybe that's 30 to 50% of what you've got ready to put in, and you hypothetically, with this scenario, you put a chunk in and then you put in little bits after that over the following weeks or months or whatever, and every paycheck. And that would give you exposure to the market immediately, but it would also allow you to take advantage of any future dips and average your price in. But then of course, if it just keeps going up, then those later purchases will not be as efficient as if you had put it all in at once. But I would say that's maybe the less risky way to do it. But again, I'm not giving any advice. Like I'm not here to give advice to people about when they should buy or when they should sell or anything like that. Like even in our crypto group, I don't give people exit strategies. That's one thing I don't teach, because my exit strategy is to not have an exit strategy. Because even though, of course, the whole crypto space is flooded with people saying, well, you have to take profits, right? If you're smart, you got to take profits. You got to, leverage yourself out, dollar cost average out. I just personally don't believe that. I mean, if you need to survive, for sure, do what you got to do. But if you have enough cash flow that you can afford to ride it up and down, then that's my personal choice, because I think people are going to get reverse wrecked, especially if we do have that overnight scenario. If we go from $10 to $1,000 plus, and people have, you know, uh, exit sells limit orders at like $5, $10, $100, whatever. Um, and that's where I've heard people, a lot of people that promote that will say, okay, well, I'm not going to sell all of it. I'm going to sell 10% or 25% and then have a moon bag, as they say. And I think if you're going to take profits, that's probably a good way to do it. But for me personally, I just don't feel guided to profit taking. And so that's not something I teach about. And I think that's your own journey, right? I'm not here to give people financial advice or tell people when to invest or how to invest. I share what I'm doing, especially in our CCA group. I'm super transparent about my portfolio percentage breakdown, when I'm buying what cryptos. Like recently, I've been buying a lot of solo. That's something I'll say here. Like solo is what I've been kind of focusing on, because I think that's going to have a really big run up next month, which we could talk about more of that in a second. But you got to follow your own intuition. And so there might be cryptos that you feel guided to that I'm not in, or you might feel guided to take profits at a certain point and I'm not. And that's everyone's personal journey. But my main thing that I want to teach about is like, what I see is the opportunities, where I think the trends are going, and then especially in CCA, like how to actually do all the technical stuff. Like that's what we really teach, is like how to actually do all the things that you have to do to even invest, like the wallets and the DeFi and all the different accounts and everything that you need, and helping people empower themselves to be in a good foundation to make your own decisions and follow your own intuition, but have the resources and the foundation to like know what you're doing. And sorry, that was a big tangent from what you actually asked about there, but yeah, Joel, I don't see any dips happening soon. Looks like a major bull run. That's what I'm feeling too. X is blowing up with crazy stories about what's going on with President Trump's hand. Carolyn Levitt said he's on aspirin therapy. Yeah, that was part of it too. And the bruises result from lots of handshaking, which does make sense, honestly. I mean, that does make sense. Yes, love it. Higher confirmation chills. There's just something about it, like I was the same way. As many of you know, I didn't like Bitcoin. I didn't like Ethereum. Prior to 2020, all of crypto was just this one mysterious blob of something that I didn't want to get involved in. And then when somebody told me about XRP and the 17 number and everything, it was just like full body chills, knowing I was like, okay. And I went and I bought some right away. And then I spent the next year just like diving in deep and educating myself and understanding it and trial and error. And then people started reaching out to me and being like, hey, can you help me? And so I did one-on-one sessions, and I did that for about a year. And then I was like, I'm putting in I'm like copying and pasting my energy teaching people the same things over and over. And I'm like, okay, I could just record this and help, a bunch of people without having to teach them the same exact things over and over and over. And that's how CCA was born. That's awesome. Nice. Yeah. What's up, Crypto Grabs? Shout out to you, brother. Good to see you, man. That's okay. I got what you meant. You're welcome. Jeremy says, if you're looking to buy, this price jump will probably correct back down to $3, not too far below that. That's in the short term. Yeah. I don't know, honestly. It definitely could, or it could run parabolic to $5-10. That's the thing with XRP is once it starts going parabolically, it just keeps going. It doesn't stop. And hey, good time to show you this shirt. Universe, show me how good it can be. Alexis made us this shirt. This is actually, I think you can buy it. If Alexis, you're still in the chat, if this shirt is available, drop it in the comments. But yeah, this is one that Alexis made herself. And that's been my mantra lately. But yeah, I don't know, Jeremy. It could definitely, but it might not either. It's really hard to tell. We're at 341, you guys. Holy moly. Look at it rip. Let's go to the 15 chart. Holy moly. That's crazy. I like adding more on dips. Yep, that's what I would say is the best strategy. Buy the dip. Yeah. Nobody knows for sure. Not me, not the best technical analysis. Like, things can get so unpredictable. But if it did, that's the thing with the all-time high is like it can act as resistance or it can act as a launch pad. It's starting to look like it's acting as a launch pad. I mean, 344 now. Like right now, huge green candle. It's looking like we're launching. Look at the 1 minute chart. Oh my God. So yeah, I would expect now we're on the road to definitely $4, if not $5 to $10. Especially because the rest of the market is not following. Like Bitcoin is at 119, 120. Okay, it just hit 120. It's only up 5.5% today. XRP is up 11% today, 35% this week. You guys, that's crazy. Show me how good it can be. We've been waiting for years. That's right. Shout out to you. We are one. Good to see you. Yeah. My gosh. So yeah, the other big thing is XLM going up. Yep. XLM did a really big jump last week. It let's see. Let's look at it specifically. It's at 47 cents. It's up 58% in the last week and 87% in the last month. That's pretty awesome. Fire. So yeah, the next big thing that I'm really looking at here is we already talked about Sigma and the meme coins. I think that'll be running up, but Sologenic, I think that's going to be big for next month. Yeah, that's good, Joel. If you guys don't know Alex Cobb, there is a notorious phenomena and joke in the XRP community that whenever he streams, the price goes down, like literally every time for some reason. So he said he's not going to stream. Looks like my luck here is different, so that's good. It would be a bummer to stream every time and stuff goes down. So yeah, the big thing I'm seeing next is Sologenic. Sologenic is the biggest layer 2 on the XRPL. So it's the biggest project built on top of the XRP blockchain. Just behind XRP is the native asset. It's the biggest one. We saw it there on First Ledger. Um, if you're not already into this one, this is going to be one of those that I think is going to be huge and is going to give a potentially higher return of investment than XRP. Um, they have a big announcement coming August, or a big launch that they've already announced, that they're going to be tokenizing the entire New York Stock Exchange on the XRP ledger to be launched next month. And so that's going to mean we're going to have access to any major stock, to be able to hold it on the blockchain, purchase it and hold it on the blockchain in your private wallet. So imagine having Tesla stock or whatever company you want to invest uh, in your crypto wallet. So no longer you're going to have to hold it with a brokerage or a bank or whatever. You get full self custody benefits, and then you can trade it. Like you could trade XRP Tesla, or you could, soon have the ability to be able to spend it, because one of the things that Sologenic is also going to be launching very soon is their Solo cards, which are debit cards that are a game changer because they allow you to spend directly from your XRP wallet. So, right now, if you want to get a crypto debit card, you got to go to like one of the major exchanges like Coinbase, or Uphold had one that they're now bringing back. But the downside to that is you have to keep those funds on the exchange instead of in your wallet. So the big thing we've been waiting for so long is a large, scalable, mainstream crypto debit card that will allow you to spend your XRP assets, and other cryptos too eventually, but particularly for us, spending our XRP assets. So imagine having one of these cards. Now you don't need a bank, right? This totally eliminates the need in most cases for a bank. Maybe not for certain things yet, like large, if you're putting a down payment on a house, for instance, you might not be able to do that yet with this debit card. It might have daily transaction limits. But in terms of day-to-day spending and bills and groceries and all that stuff, imagine you don't need a bank account anymore. You can hold your RLUSD stablecoin in your XRP wallet, right? So now you have, instead of having to hold USD in the bank, you have RLUSD, which is pegged to the dollar. You get all the benefits of the XRP blockchain, and you get to hold it in your wallet, and then you can spend that at the grocery store. So at that point, it's like you don't need a bank account, right? And that's like the next level. And then on top of that, being able to spend your XRP, your stocks, your solo, and interchange between them. So like imagine going to the grocery store and you can spend your Tesla stock on your groceries, or you can spend digital gold, or your treasury bonds, or an ETF. All these things are going to get tokenized on XRP and are going to be super liquid. And so this platform, it's called Solo Tex. It's Sologenic, partnered with a broker dealer called Texture Capital, who's a licensed broker dealer, which is the big puzzle piece they've been trying to fill for as long as I've been invested in them, 4+ years now. The big puzzle piece was they needed a broker dealer license in the US to be able to do this legally. And they partnered with this broker dealer, created Solotex, and now we're going to actually have this going live next month. And we all thought it was going to start with like one stock, like maybe it would start with Tesla, and that would be like the beginning, and then they'd bring more in. But they announced it's going to be the whole New York Stock Exchange that's going to go live on the first day. And and the price action hasn't even been, it's been going up. Solo has been going up the last week, but not as much as it should be with that news. And it's because most people don't know about it. But imagine somebody like Elon. I think there's a good chance Elon could shout that out, because if you can get Tesla stock on crypto now, on the blockchain, and imagine one tweet from Elon or somebody prominent talking about it in the government. Tokenization is like the biggest narrative right now, and Sologenic and XRP are the leaders, especially after there was this other blockchain that was called Mantra that I think was also going for tokenization, and they like totally collapsed. I should check on the price of that because I haven't looked at it in a while. I was not invested in this one, but they were one of the, like, I guess you could say, competitors, and it totally just collapsed. Yeah, it's still down like 99% from from where it was. So that was like poof, competition gone. Now XRP and Solo and Corium connected to that are really, it's going to be a game changer, guys. So if you're not in Sologenic and Corium is connected with all of that as well. They're also working with, it's the same developing team, if you don't know, behind Solo and Corium, and they are working with Dubai, obviously the US now with this launch, and also El Salvador. They met with President Bukele the same week he met with Trump. And then they announced shortly after that our SEC is going to be collaborating with El Salvador's SEC for tokenization. And who just met with them right before that announcement was Sologenic and Corium. So huge, huge things coming for those. That's pretty much the core thing that we'll teach you about after all the XRP stuff if you join CCA. We go through all the basics, all the wallets, all the XRP stuff, and then we teach you all about Sologenic and Corium and how to do the staking with Corium, because again, that's where you can get 42 to 50% annual returns, staking rewards right now, limited time, because that's probably going to go down as this asset goes up in the coming years. Probably even out around 10 to 20% if I had to guess. So 42 to 50% is like mind-blowing opportunity right now. And if you're not taking advantage of this, like I'm not, no financial advice, but I would have it on your radar for sure. And then another big one, of course, Stronghold, I talk about a lot, SHX. That one is set to blow, I think, real soon too. A lot of people in the technical analysis are saying that it's doing a golden cross right now, which is like a huge sign that it's about to pump massively. Speaking of which, 346 right now. Holy moly, you guys. We just broke all-time high on CoinGecko. Oh my god. We did it together. We caught it on a stream. That's so crazy. Wow. This is history. This is the first time this has ever happened since I've been invested in XRP. All-time high. 7 years. Okay. Well, 7 years since all-time high. 5 years plus for me personally. But that's crazy. Crazy. CryptoGrab says, I first learned of XRP watching an interview you did with a lot of Cyrus on the 1 foot and I think you mean Alara of Sirius. I'm assuming that's a voice to text thing. With Alara of Sirius on the 1 foot 5D channel way back when several months after that I cashed out of my 401k and never looked back. Congrats, bro. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person one day soon. We gotta get out to a conference or something together. Because you've been in the circles for like long time now. Hopefully we can meet up. Yeah. This is mind-blowing. I've been working in the banking industry since 2006. So this is mentally stretching me in a good way. Love it. Getting chills. Yeah. Audio. Oh. Is my audio still out? Can you guys hear me? Okay. I left for a quick second to top off my coffee. But when I'm on the screen is okay, I'm good. Okay, cool. Okay. I was like, oh no, I've just been rambling. Yeah, when I took my camera away, I went to top off my coffee real quick, but we just made history. Yeah. Oh my god, you know what I gotta play? Okay, give me a second here. Love you guys.
De style holding, où le canot est allongé. Flip the switch.
Übers Mühlort. It's halbedone.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Ninety-point 999% of the people that own Bitcoin are fucking morons, retarded, imbeciles.
Pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You
forgot that
got
was
to
there.
pump it up.
Во-первых, народу мама музыка не очень. А? Направление? Какое направление?
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Good stuff, guys. It's trying to bust up again. 346.99 on BitTrue. Let's go back. Holy moly. Just makes me think of that Trump. Let me just find it. That Trump meme where he talks about winning. Oh, come on. Where is it? Here we go. Ooh.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to
more winning. Will we ever really get tired of winning? We'll just be desensitized to it because that's like heaven level abundance. Okay, Jack, here, let me just get this back on the screen. So Jack says, when staking, what you just mentioned, when you stake now and you add later, do you get two separate percentages? It's so if you're talking about when I'm saying that it could come down, it's constantly in flux. So even though staking now for the 40 whatever percent, that could come down later. It's not like you're locked into that percentage. So it's not like the people in it now making 40 something percent are always going to make that. The APR rate is constantly in flux. And like 6 months ago, it used to be like 20 something. And I kind of expected it would start going down as it, got more popular. But because they did some updates that sped up the blockchain basically and made the blocks faster, the percentage actually went up. So everybody starts making more. So it's the same for everybody at that point in time. And then I don't think this is what you're asking here, but also in terms of two percentages, like when I said 42 to 50, the base rate APR for Corium right now is like 42. But if you compound that, that's where you can get upwards of near 50%. Because if you're taking those rewards, claiming them like, often, like a couple times a week or even daily, and then putting it back in that staking interest generating machine, that's when you can end up getting higher APY. So that's the difference between APR and APY. APR, the annual percentage rate, is the flat rate. The APY is the yield that you can get if you're compounding it to the max effect. Good question. Ava says, hey, Jace, it's Victoria from Nashville. Sorry, late to your live. Did you hear anything about Brad Garlinghouse selling off 25% of XRP? Yeah, I don't think that's true. There's a lot of fake, just rumors and like posts and stuff out there. It makes me think of like the fake airdrops too. So if you ever come across a video on YouTube or X or Telegram of a Ripple XRP airdrop, it's fake. They will take Brad Garlinghouse and Elon Musk and they will do AI, video, audio, and they'll say, hey, we're doing a limited time XRP airdrop. Whatever you send in up to 50K XRP, we'll send you back twice as much. And it's just a total scam. So there's no XRP airdrops. And that's not what you're asking about here, but it just made me think of that. But yeah, I haven't heard of even that rumor at all. That song's been in my head too. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Trump it up. Yeah, you're welcome. What's up, XRP Shaman? Great name. Great name. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see where we at. We're trying to break that 347 again. Look at that. It just did a little dip and we're back up strong. The market is bullish. It is bullish right now. I think that's all of the links that I wanted to share. Let me poke through and see if there's any other relevant stories here. If anyone knows exactly what Carolyn Levitt said this morning regarding crypto, please let me know. So one of the things that I'm seeing here, and we'll share this. Let me share this page. I dislike that StreamYard makes me exit out of this every time to go back in and reshare. But we work with it. Okay. So this is from Digital Perspectives talking about the Genius Act. So they're talking about how the Genius Act does not allow interest to be passed on to stablecoin holders. And while on the surface that may seem like something that's limiting or not good, what this is going to do is, first off, it's going to get rid of a lot of the bogus like stable coins that are out there, like the top stable coins, USDC, RLUSD, Tether. None of those do interest generation or staking or anything like that inherently on the layer one. So this is only going to affect really like smaller projects that are mostly, I would say, scammy to begin with. But also what it's going to do is it's going to drive demand to our staking cryptos like Corium and like Flare and others, because now if you want to get staking rewards on the chain, on blockchain, you're going to have to go to these, protocols. And so it's just going to drive up demand for that. And we are getting the Genius Act heading to the president's desk to be signed into law. Sounds like tomorrow. Which, man, this has been an explosive week, and it's not even over yet. Like, it's going to be Friday, but technically crypto week goes until the 21st. So I would say this has been pretty good because, going into crypto week, I was like, okay, it's either the markets are either going to explode or they're going to dump. And the only reason why I thought like they would dump is because crypto, as many of you guys have noticed, doesn't always respond to good news. Like something really good will happen and it won't have any effect on the market. And when it comes to hyped up events like crypto week, that can go one of two ways, because obviously that you would think intuitively, oh, it's going to help. But a lot of times you get the buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. So I didn't know if this could potentially be, depending on what happened this week, if it was underwhelming and it was not, it didn't kind of exceed people's expectations, I could see that having caused the market to go down. But obviously we've gotten quite the opposite. We've gotten new all-time highs across the market, let alone for XRP itself for the first time in 7 years. So I would say it's gone pretty good. I would say the market and the investors are pretty pleased with everything that's playing out right now. And as soon as this gets signed in, oh my God, like that'll be, I feel like once that's locked in, that could be another major shift upward. I feel like we're probably past the risk of this week in terms of premature sell-off and selling the news. If this, as it's looking like, if this gets signed in tomorrow, I think that'll be like we're pushing to the next level. Let's see if there's anything else he shared that's good to mention. SEC Chair Paul Atkins congratulates the House of Representatives for passing the Genius Act. Awesome. Here's Stuart Alderati, which is Ripple's legal head, an hour ago. The Genius Act now goes to the president's desk, and the Clarity Act moves forward to the Senate. At long last, there's movement on workable, clear frameworks for crypto and stablecoins that will both foster innovation and protect consumers. This is exactly what the American people have been asking for. This is probably especially why we're getting an extra pump right now, because now that Genius Act is passed and Clarity Act's going to the Senate, like it's almost guaranteed this is going down now. And what we also have to talk about here is Tether, because the Genius Act is not going to be very favorable to Tether USDT, which is a foreign stablecoin, which USDC and USDT have pretty much been the dominating crypto stablecoins on pretty much any exchange or anywhere you go. Those are the most used. But Tether has been under scrutiny for quite some time, as many of you know, because they print or mint new USDT, much like the Fed is just printing Federal Reserve notes. And so every time that new USDT gets printed, we find that that basically Bitcoin goes up in price. So there seems to be a correlation between USDT getting printed and then it's going into Bitcoin and it's driving the Bitcoin price up and basically overinflating Bitcoin, whereas XRP has been underinflated or basically suppressed. So you have overinflation of Bitcoin and suppression of XRP, and you're going to get a snapback effect. And this Genius Act, I think, is going to perpetuate that because it's obviously going to help American cryptos and American stablecoins, and USDT being foreign is it's just not going to get the kind of support that USDC and RLUSD are in the American institutions and in the government. So this could be the nail in the coffin for Bitcoin. This could be the one of the beginning moments that causes a Bitcoin collapse and XRP to become the number one asset in the crypto market. But we'll see what happens. That's just kind of what I'm seeing right now. So, like we said, Genius Act is passed, and now the House is voting on the anti-CBDC bill, which is still crazy to me that there's people fighting for pro CBDCs. Like, it's pretty nuts. That's crazy that it passed on this live stream too. Oh, we're getting a little pullback. Somebody buy the dip. 340. Samantha says, I did a sound healing while you've been sharing, sending the word out to the Guardian and in spirit. Love it. That's awesome, Samantha. And shout out to you, CCA member. 5 years ago, I contacted you to help me understand this market. Mel Carmine had you posted on his channel. Just had lunch with him today and celebrated. Wow. You had lunch with Mel today? That's awesome, man. How cool. That's awesome, brother. I'm assuming, are you located in Florida then? Because I think that's where he's at right now, right? Are you guys are you homies? Or are you like working with him on a project or something? Joel says it's almost too perfect that XRP skyrockets today on a Thursday, the 17th, during the first ever National Crypto Week. Dude, and that totally reminds me, Thursday is the whole thing in the Mr. Pool, Bearable Guy, like Thursdays. Let me see if I can pull it up, but that's like a thing. And I forgot about that until this moment. Here we go. So this is from Stevie XRP. He's a good, great actually, Mr. Pool analyst. Give him a follow, Esoteric King. He said the beginning of it is February 6th tomorrow. Well, this is from earlier this year. But anyway, the thing I wanted to show you was this. This is from Bearable Guy back on Reddit, the original posts. Definitely more than 8 years ago, I think, at this point, or maybe it was about 8 years ago. But yeah, I freaking love Thursdays. Who's ready for some fun? Thursdays. So that's always been a thing in the XRP Ripple Riddler lore is Thursdays. And of course, it's Thursday 7/17, and it's the 179th day of the admin, which is 17. 1 plus 7 plus 9 is 17. So it just all adds up. It's so crazy. That's awesome, man. Shout out to you, XRP Shaman. Nah, he says never sell your XRP XLM. They are stable coins. Shh, don't tell anybody. They will be, they have to be. They have to be stable at a really high price in order to do their job, which was David Schwartz's whole point about that post of, you know, if you have $1 million, if you got to move $1 million and you're a bank and an XRP is $1 million, you only got to move one coin. But if XRP is $1, you got to move 1 million coins. So the system works better the higher the price of XRP is. The higher it goes, the better it works, which is just such a great model. Evergrande was ordered to remove 300 billion Bitcoin from their books. I'm assuming you mean Bitcoin. It has not happened yet. Is that how they take the beast down? Interesting. Yep. True. I mean, let's see. Bitcoin market cap is 2.3 trillion. So what, 10% of that is 230 billion? That would double XRP's price and market cap right now. If 10% of Bitcoin was converted, it would double XRP. Yep. 17. Yep. 17th day. Japan's election on the 20th. That's right. Japan is having an election coming up. And Japan is really big in XRP. Japan and Korea are known for being huge parts of the XRP market. It's also Mercury retrograde starting today, which I know most people don't like that, but I was born in Mercury retrograde and it's always been really good to me. I find that things are, for me, more, I think more clearly and I'm more activated and more in flow, and generally like posting more and like just, you know, more aligned. Divine alignment, exactly. Anyone else experience that with Mercury retrograde? Like the reverse effect of what people would normally talk about? Any other babies born in Mercury retrograde out there? Yep, it's true. They are. They are. I've seen more people, more Bitcoin maxis talk about Ripple and XRP and the benefits to it than I've ever seen before, which is nuts. Let's see. So if you don't have a crypto hardware wallet yet, I mentioned this earlier, but here's the actual page for it. So this is down below. I've got a link to get $30 off on the Decent hardware wallet, and this is my go-to most trusted crypto wallet. So I've used Ledger, I've used Trezor, and Decent for hardware wallets, and this is the one that I have put the most trust in and that I like the most. One, because it's got a fingerprint scanner. So versus other ones which just have a pin, you know, and someone gets the wallet and they guess your pin, then, you know, they can get into your funds. This one, they need your actual fingerprint, and you can put as many fingerprints on there as you want. So you could put your partner or your kids or whatever you want. Multiple fingers, do all your fingers and toes, whatever. But yeah, that's my most trusted, and that's the one we teach everyone how to use in Conscious Crypto Academy. So that link is down below in the description if you guys want to get that $30 off, and then it gives me a kickback as well, supports the channel. And then also, you know, I've been talking about it here, but Conscious Crypto Academy is my online academy and community that we've got over 150 people in, over 115 active members in our group chat, and we do everything that we're talking about here. So we teach you everything from the fundamentals, all of the like conceptual stuff with what even is blockchain and crypto? What does that mean? What is decentralized finance? What is staking? What is liquidity pools? What is AMAs or AMMs? What are all these different terms that you hear about in these opportunities? Generating passive income. We talk about mindset in the markets, like how to use your intuition coupled with your rational, logical brain to combine those superpowers and not make emotional investments, but find things that are in alignment, and how to read the markets, the basics of trading, the different styles of trading, the different kinds of investing styles basically out there, how to purchase and store. So, of course, if you're a total beginner, it is geared for whether you're a total beginner or you've got a little moderate experience. But we teach you how to purchase, how to set up those wallets, how to use the decent, how to use some of the other free wallets and the ones that you need for staking, Zalman, Lobster, and then how to find these other cryptos. Like, I talk about Stronghold a lot, Solo and Corium we've talked about a lot here. You can't get those, especially Stronghold is not available on any of the major exchanges. Solo and Corium you can get on just one exchange. It's on Uphold, but you can't get them on the rest yet. So these are like, you go through the blockchain, we show you how to do it all decentralized, and basically early investor advantage to a lot of these XRP connected cryptos that I've barely started moving, and the market caps are all beneath like 200 million. So like, XRP 200 billion right now versus less than 200 million market cap. So like huge difference. That's literally 1,000x, right? 1,000x from the million to a billion. So like that's where there's real opportunity here. So then, we talked about meme coins earlier. We talked about meme coins too, and what you can do with those, what are the opportunities are. We've got all of this in like core course material. So it's all pre-recorded. It's all ready to go. There's no time limit on it. So you join, you take it at your own speed, and it's a one-time payment, which we'll talk about on the call. There's payment plan options, but it's a one-time payment. So you don't have to like come up with the money every month and like years down the line be like, oh, do I want to justify paying monthly for this? Once you're in, and you have unlimited access to everything. So no time limit. It makes it really nice for, if you've got a busy life, a job, a family, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can get this done in this time limit. Like you're going to have as much time as you need. So it's really flexible for you. Step-by-step tutorials. I narrate myself like going through it, doing every process. So we teach you about it, and then we actually show you how to do it. And then the huge part of it is the weekly coaching calls. So the people in the academy can attest to this, but we get on a call every Sunday and go for hours. Like sometimes we'll go 3-4 hours easy. And you don't have to stay for that long, but it's like the conversations are so involved that sometimes we're taking that much time. We go over first any questions that you guys have. So usually even, laying it out super simply. And we were talking about this on that X space on Sigma earlier. They're like, man, it's crazy. Like it's so hard to get people. It's so hard to teach people this stuff is what they were saying, because you can give super direct tutorials, but it can still be super confusing. So even with those tutorials, like having a weekly accountability coaching call where you can meet with me and 10 to 20 other people on average every week, ask questions, get community feedback, not just mine, but like bounce ideas off other people, different perspectives, different interests, different research. But really for the coaching for the course material and like getting reassurance on how to do the things that we're teaching, I think is invaluable. And then we also have a 24/7 support group chat where, because we've got people from all around the world, there's always somebody awake in that group chat. Shout out to Tender Green Heart in our chat, because he's like based out of Malaysia, so he's usually awake, when most people aren't, and he's also awake when I am all the time. So I don't know when that guy sleeps, but shout out to you, because he's been a huge support in our chat, helping people out, and the members in the chat know like he always gives super long, detailed, thoughtful explanations to the questions people ask. So shout out to Tender Green Heart in Conscious Crypto Academy. And, we get the whole network of all of our community there. So that's like, the big vision with this is, even if I end up discontinuing doing coaching one day, my vision for the next stage of this is that we're creating this international network of awakened, conscious investors who are on the same page about using these funds to create a better humanity and create a better planet. And so that's the whole goal of Conscious Crypto Academy is we're creating the next generation of millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires, and hey, maybe some trillionaires that are dedicated in whatever their particular background, their skill set, their interests in applying this money to their missions to make the world a better place. And so that's like our big vision here. And that's what's going to be the next phase of this whole mission for me is like, as this wealth really pours in, we now have this super tight community of over 100 plus people from all around the world, where most of them have some kind of idea of like what they want to do. Like there's a lot of people wanting to build communities and healing centers or schools or healing technologies or advanced propulsion technologies or whatever. But like, this is where crypto is really going to bring out all this stuff on a mainstream level. And we're just playing a piece of that. But that's like our piece in the puzzle that I'm trying to build out right now, that we'd love to have you be a part of that. So if this calls to you, whether it's the educational part of it, teaching you how to do all this stuff, or it's the networking community part of it, you're going to get all of it in CCA. So if that interests you, the link to book a free consultation call with me is down below. I also we can do one-on-one coaching if that interests you. That's something we could talk about. Just let me know on our call. But yeah, free 30-minute consultation call, and we'll talk about whatever questions you have about this. We'll tell you the price. We'll tell you what it looks like to join, all that good stuff. And we can get you in that day. So the day you book your call, we can get you signed up in that day, in our group chat that day, and joining us on our next call that week. So if you go to this site, just click join today and it'll take you to that Calendly link, or I believe that link is directly down below in the description as well. So yeah, shout out to everybody in CCA and everybody who's been on this journey in general for all the time that we've been in it. Let's go back to the price chart here. Oh, we're starting to break out. You again. Oh shoot, 348. It's happening again. Next leg up. I think I got to play the song again. Hold on. Did I close it? I closed it. Oh, since we're going to, it's 349. Oh my God. That's crazy, you guys. $349.
De style holding, où le canot est à nid longé. Flip the switch.
Yves Mullard, it's Halbedona.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
99.999% of the people that own Bitcoin are fucking morons, retarded, imbeciles.
Pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Во-первых, народа мама музыка не очень. А? Направление? Какое направление?
Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Past 353. Holy moly. 354 nearly. Holy moly. These are 1 minute candles too. Look how much movement in each 1 minute candle. Let's zoom out a little bit. Ooh, the 15-minute chart. Holy cow. Oh my gosh, the 1 hour chart. Oh my gosh, it's going parabolic, you guys. Holy moly. That's crazy. Wow. The more you zoom out, the better it looks. Oh, the weekly chart. Look at that. Holy moly. That's crazy. Go, baby, go. 354. Oh, well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about or have questions about while we observe this beautiful moment in space-time? Asia ain't even awake yet. Yeah, good point. When South Korea wakes up, holy moly. I keep saying that, but it's going to be good. Yeah, again, South Korea is like huge, huge. Show me how good it can be, universe. It's going to be so good. It's a beautiful day here in Arizona. We had some storms last night, but now it's clear blue skies. Is it wrong that I don't want to go to work and miss the updates? Hey, I mean, just put an earbud in and listen while you work. I don't know if you can do that, but got to make that dough to put it in XRP, right? I understand. And when you get off work, there's going to be some really good updates then. I do think we can hit double digits. I mean, I definitely think that's in the cards for the next week. I mean, if we keep going, I mean, this 4-hour daily chart, so parabolic. If that parabolic trend continues, I mean, we're nearly in the like exponential straight up and down God candle moment. This next day or two will, I think, signal to us where we're going. How important is it to update my firmware on my Decent wallet? You helped me the last time. I'm not feeling confident enough to do it myself. So, wait, is this Victoria, by the way? I'm just seeing your dog. I don't know if that's you. Ava. So with the Decent before, if this is Victoria, the way that we did it before, or the way just in general you had to do it before, was plugging it into the computer. Okay, awesome. Hey, good to see you. So before it was more complicated. They've made it easier now, and I haven't done it yet, but now they have a wireless. I think you can either do it via the Bluetooth, or you can plug the phone into your phone and bypass the computer. So I haven't done this myself yet. Mine has been bugging me to update it, and I haven't gotten around to it. but it should be simpler now than it was previously. Because before you had to download the Decent Bridge app and like do this funny stuff. Now just follow the prompt of the steps. Again, I haven't tried it myself, but it looks like you can do it all just on the app now, either with Bluetooth or plugging it into your phone. Call off. What do you mean? A massage therapist. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to be pretty focused on what you're doing. I get it. Well, make that money, come back, and you're helping people out. That's good karma. All the people you're massaging, they're going to have better lives. So you're going to come back to some good karma in the markets, I think. $25 plus this year. I could see it. I mean, that Jake Claver guy, he's saying he's calling for $1,000 by end of year. That would be pretty juicy. Yeah, I get it. It always makes me nervous doing any kind of thing too, but I mean, it should be much easier and more low maintenance and less stressful than it used to be. Oh, that space has started. I said I was going to speak on that. I guess maybe I should get over there, but everything's doing so well right now. How long have we been going? 2.5 hours? I guess we could start to wrap this up. Oh, call off work. Got some bad influences here in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh, this giant lizard just walked right by me on the ground outside. Huge lizard. That's like a dragon. Whoa. Hey, buddy. Oh, he's eating something. Wow. I just watched a giant lizard catch a little bug or something. The lizard was like this big. There you go. I have heard good things about Caleb and Brown. I personally don't like to keep anything with any third party group, but I have heard good things about Caleb and Brown. But I always just feel safer keeping it myself. But that's good to know. I'm hearing more and more people talking about that their custody option. Yep, that's what Jake Claver's saying. I don't know. He doesn't know any more really than the rest of us, but I could see it. If we hit utility, then that's easy, right? If we get the utility run, then $1,000 is easy. Yes, I have the old one as well, and when I've been prompted to update it, it's been telling me to do it through the app wirelessly. So it should be good. But let me know. Let me know if it wants you to go through the computer route. Nice. That's awesome. I didn't catch it, but that's cool. You're really well connected, bro. That's sweet. Green dragon lizard candle eating all the bud. Oh, I haven't heard of Fireblocks. What is Fireblocks? Is that what Caleb and Brown use? $350 right now. All right. It looks like that Sologenic and Corium space has started on X. So I think I'm going to head out here and jump over to that space. You guys are welcome to join. Here I'll post here. I'll share it with you guys so you can see what it looks like. So let's see. I think here it is. So Sologenic and Corium community. I also retweeted this, so you can go to my Twitter and grab the link for it, or follow Zen Lounge, my buddy Zach. Either way, this is his Corium validator page, and if you go there, you'll see it on his page. But I'm gonna head out and jump in that space, and I encourage you guys, if you're free, to come hang out in there too and get the newest intel and community discussion. So much love, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out. Great stuff. We'll be back with another live and updates soon. And let me know in the comments if there's any particular videos you would like me to make or any topics you'd like me to cover, crypto or otherwise. And we'll be back soon with some new updates as we see what happens with this price action. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But much love, everybody. And awesome. Going to watch your podcast from my beginning. Awesome. I do got to do more like actual podcasts too. I was doing those before, but I got thinking about doing more interview style podcasts once again. 17. All right. Yeah, much love. Thank you guys for hanging out. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.